Yo, what is good, you guys? Let's get straight into this brand new Don Lorenzo style rework. Starting off with the first skill here, Zombie Dribble. It's pretty much unchanged, but unlike the original, you can now click A or D on your keyboard and you're actually going to be able to dash side to side up to 3 times. Alright, so a little bit of tech and information for this skill. You want to make sure that you're hitting your dashes pretty quick into the move, as if you wait too long, you're actually not going to be able to hit all the dashes. But more importantly, they actually slow down the longer you wait to use them. So as you can see here, you use them early, they're pretty nice and big. But if you use your dashes towards the end, they actually become really tiny, as you could see there. So if you want to cover a lot of ground with this skill, you're going to pop the skill, turn sideways, hit all 3 dashes, and you're good to go. So don't wait. If you want to cover ground, make sure you're hitting those dashes off rip. Zombie Dribble also comes with an off-the-ball variant where you dash forward with some pretty insane range to pick up the ball and carry it forward a bit. If you have the ball on you, honestly, just kind of forget about this variant, as the original Zombie Dribble I find to be way stronger. A little bit of tech for this skill is that it's really strong for dribbling past the AI goalkeeper. All you want to do is tap the ball forward inside the penalty area and then immediately use the skill, and you'll find that you can just dribble straight past the goalkeeper for an easy tap-in. Alright, so the second skill here, Undead Crash, it's pretty much unchanged from the original. All you want to do is click the skill on a teammate for a perfect pass that is guaranteed to get to them. Except it kind of isn't now, because the devs have decided to remove the iframes on this skill. So as you can see here, my friend is going to dash into me while I'm using the skill, and there will be no iframes. He just takes the ball cleanly off me. To make up for this weakness though, a brand new counter variant has been put in place for the skill. At any point during the windup, just go ahead and tap T, click your special button on mobile, and what's going to happen is going to pop this really neat counter where you dash forward and leave your opponent on the ground eating the grass. Alright, so a bit of tech for this skill. All you want to do is click 2, and then immediately afterward, go ahead and click T and turn it into a counter. This is especially useful after a zombie dribble, because right at the end of the zombie dribble, you can go ahead and pop this little bit of tech, and most players are not going to expect Don Lorenzo to just have a pretty much instant counter. Alright, so moving on to the third skill, Defensive Stance. Functionally, it's the same, but it did have these changes made to it. The hitbox is now half the size, but it starts earlier and has a longer lifetime. The ball will have more upward velocity when blocking a strong shot, and the deflected ball will move according to the direction you deflected. So yeah, as you can see here, a normal shot from my friend, it does go pretty high, and the trajectory has clearly been changed from the OG one. And when he takes a stronger shot here, as you can see, it goes way higher. So the tech for this skill is pretty stupid, but it's also kind of fun. Basically, you can have a teammate shoot the ball at you while you're in front of the opponent's goal, and with the correct lineups, which is super hard to pull off, you will end up scoring with this skill by deflecting your teammate's shot. Honestly, I don't believe anyone can pull this off in game, but it does exist and it is possible. But yeah, the first person who can do this in game, I'll send you some Robux and I'll include your clip in my next video, because that would honestly be so impressive. Alright, now let's talk about Don Lorenzo's brand new special called Price Check. So the specifics here is, if an opponent is within 92.6 studs of you, you get to mark them. The marked opponent is going to suffer from 20% movement speed reduction, which is pretty massive. And they're also going to suffer from up to 30% shot power reduction based on how close you are to them. So if you're trying to defend with this special, all you want to do is stick really close to your opponent to ensure that not only they won't lose the marker, but that they will suffer from the most amount of shot power reduction as they possibly can. Alright, to help you guys visualize just how far the range is, I'm going to go ahead and put the mark on my all account here. And as you can see, it is about 2 grids far. So make sure you're staying within 2 grids of your opponent if you really want to keep this mark on them at all times. And no, there obviously isn't really any tech for this. Alright, so moving on to the last Don Lorenzo base skill. It is of course Horrific Intercept. This has been left completely unchanged by the devs. It's just the classic trap skill we all know and love. But this update did come with a brand new variant for this skill. To do it, all you gotta do is have a mark on someone and it'll change the skill from playing a cutscene to instead doing this little dribble animation. It's pretty good. I'd say it's better than the base version since you do cover some ground. But yeah, it's pretty simple to use. You don't gotta be close to your opponent or anything. Literally just have the mark valid on them and it will change the skill. Alright, let's talk about that Horrific Intercept tech. All you want to do is hit 4 headers, use Horrific Intercept as a header reset, hit 5 headers, and then you can actually use your brand new Zombie Dribble variant to reach the ball and cover so much ground. And no, sadly the brand new variant doesn't have any tech that I could find. Also, real quick here, I just discovered there's actually a third variant to this skill now, and to perform it, you just need a mark on an opponent and to also have a nearby teammate. All you gotta do then is land the skill like normal, you'll trap the ball in the air like Nagi, and then you're gonna go ahead and perform a perfect pass straight to that teammate. Finally, let's move on to Don Lorenzo's brand new ult, and honestly, it is super sick. So first off, there are 3 brand new variants of your flow that you can activate. The first one is the OG one. Just go ahead and pop flow with the ball on you and you'll trigger the OG cutscene. Alright, now the second variant is a little cooler. To do this one, you just gotta be inside your own penalty area and actually spam your flow button as someone shoots the ball at you, and you'll actually save it and deflect it with this brand new cutscene. However, do note that this variant does come with a pretty bad downside in that your flow drains much quicker. I think it's 2 times quicker to be exact. And the third variant sadly doesn't do anything special like the second one did, but to activate it, all you gotta do is go ahead and pop flow during overtime to trigger this really cool cutscene. Alright, so the first flow skill here is of course the classic Yo Michael. All you gotta do is use your second skill on an opponent with the ball, and then go ahead and use your skill again at the right timing to steal the ball from them. To beat the little mini game 100% of the time, just go ahead and use the skill again right when the circle closes onto the other circle. So to be a bit more specific, be watching that outer circle, and once it completely disappears, that's when you use the skill again. And here is the miss variant, which appears to also be unchanged. And here's the super sick variant if you land this on a Kaiser. Sadly though, there's no variant for Kaiser winning, which is a bit of a shame, but it's whatever. Alright, moving on, we have Lorenzo's second flow skill, Ace Eater, which has gotten completely reworked from a counter. Ace Eater is now a 3-part move, and for every usage, you need to click the skill and have a target near you. Alright, so the first usage is just going to be a simple cutscene, and it'll dribble past an opponent. The second usage is going to do the exact same thing, but this time it's also going to carry you forward. And finally, on your third usage, you're going to dribble past an opponent and shoot the ball where you're aiming. Remember, you've only got a few seconds between each use before the move itself goes on cooldown and you're locked out of using the skill. So make sure not to wait too long between each use, but at the same time, you don't really want to be spamming the skill or else you're not really getting that much value out of it. And if you're wondering how much time you have between each use, I went ahead and tested it. It is exactly 10 seconds between each use before the move goes on cooldown. And lastly, for the Don Lorenzo rework, we've got the chemical reaction between Lorenzo and Barrow. To perform it, all you gotta do is land at least one use of Ace Eater, then before it goes on cooldown, go ahead and pass the ball to a teammate on Barrow and have them use their shooting skill. The last requirement is that your teammate also needs to have 2 people near him, and if you combine that all together, you get this insane chemical reaction.